show. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cat Calls. I am Cat Vine, and this is my show that I do basically every other Thursday on twitch.tv/KATVEIN. That's my name. Don't wear it out, but you should spell it out if you're ever on YouTube and you're trying to find episodes of Cat Calls that have already aired on YouTube. That's where I put them all. That's where you can find them. You probably don't even have to spell my last name, honestly. You can just put Cat Calls or honestly just the artist that you want to see. I'm not here to just rant your face off. I am here to welcome you to today's show and most importantly, ask you to join me in a rip-rousing round of applause for today's guest. I need to really hear it even in the rafters. Everyone give it up for Lamorn, everybody. Woo! Yes! I am so excited to welcome Lamorn to the program. Arizona in the house. As Torn Strike, Molly Otto, Joy Headset in the house. Yeah, I've been a big fan of Lamorn's music ever since I was introduced to his sound by the single Physical Layer back in 2021. It's got a good name because his is the kind of sound that you can see and hear. It's so beautifully textured and nuanced. It's so funky and super melodic. If you like Madeon, and of course you do, you're watching Cat Calls, I think you're really going to love Lamorn because he channels a lot of that dude's bright and colorful approach. As I was watching in a video he posted to YouTube, he's really into the French sound. Shout out Danger. Love Danger. I should get Danger on Cat Calls, but probably I can't because he wears a mask. Anyway, Lamorn brings plenty of his own sauce to the table, tying in bits of his experience as an indie rocker. And when I say experience, you gotta understand, Lamorn's like 20 years old now, so his experience comes from being in indie bands when he was like 12 and 14 years old, but his sound is wise beyond its years, and that's why deadmau5 signed him basically mid-live stream during the pandemic. His debut album, Forever, is coming out next Friday on June 2nd, but I've got him a week early because he's hitting the US on a tour. I'm sure it's going to be sick as hell. I might have to come find him in Atlanta. He plays guitars and he does all kinds of stuff. I'm going to play you one of my favorite cuts from the album, Forever. It's called Who We Are, and it was featured on my Cat Scrolls newsletter, if that's something you follow. If not, maybe you should. It's got good songs on it all the time. I will share the links while the song plays, but stay tuned. When we come back, I will have Lamorn on the line, so get your questions ready because this is your show as much as it is my show, as much as it is Natalie May's show. So if you've got questions for Lamorn, I want to hear them and I want to share them with him. And when we come back, we'll find out who Lamorn is, and this is who we are, who we really are. Words. And we're live.
There we go.
And we're live, straight from Phoenix, Arizona. Are you in Phoenix currently?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm not lying to the good folks. I know we were mid-chat. It's the problem about the Zoom green room, the green Zoom, if you will, because you start having conversations and then I'm like, hold please.
Yeah.
we're going live imminently. Phoenix in the house. Okay, so we're jamming out to Who We Are, and Who We Are is live with Lamorn, by the way. And we already got a couple questions in the chats, but you were saying, I cut you off, that song has seemed to really resonate well with fans, and it's been a pretty nice release for you, but that you never can tell which songs are going to land with your audience, and sometimes you're really excited about a song and then you're like meh, and then sometimes you're like, wow, I didn't expect that. So
yeah, I've been finding like I think overall I'm just putting a little less pressure on release day for myself, so it's like release day is just kind of the day that it goes up, and every song seems to follow a different path, and like in Who We Are, I think that one had a pretty decent first couple days, and then like a month later it got added to some playlists, and people start listening to it more, and then it picks up in the algorithms and whatever. And, it's just kind of a matter of that, and yeah, you go look at a couple comments and see, oh yeah, okay, people really like this one, or it's cool. It's cool to see it kind of gives all the songs a different life in your head, because it's no longer just yours, like, living in your bedroom. It's like it's living in many households across the world.
Which is so cool, but also so anxiety inducing at a point too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever have you ever experienced your song in the wild? Have you ever just found someone listening to it, or heard it playing somewhere that you weren't expecting? Has that happened to you yet?
Kinda.
Kind of.
Yeah, one time I was listening to a Spotify playlist that I put on shuffle, and my song came on. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know this was on this playlist."
That's awesome.
So that's kind of an example.
I think that counts. Playlists are the modern radio,
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, no, not really. I'm trying to think. I've had a few, I think, just small little things where it's like someone that I don't know, or like, a friend of a friend of a friend knows what I'm doing, kind of thing. We run into it, kind of that kind of thing.
Totally.
Which is always cool, because it's like, oh, I guess people are interested in in what I'm doing. To me, it's just me sitting here on the computer, which I love. But
I can completely relate to that. Like, a couple times in the last couple of years since I started this stream, I've run into people who are like, "Cat," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Cat calls," and I'm like, "Oh my god, yes!" Because in my mind, I'm like, it's just me and like my friends, and that's all it is. And then you're like, oh wow, like anyone gives a fuck. That's so cool.
Yeah. You never know whose life you're a part of.
That's so true, and you never know who you're inspiring and who you're affecting. Like, I will ask pointed questions, but I just didn't want to share this story because I always think about it and I think it's so amazing. Danny Elfman, the composer and the musician. I did this interview with him once, and he was talking about when The Nightmare Before Christmas was first released, that it was considered a failure. Disney really distanced themselves from it. Critics didn't understand. They were like, is this a kid's movie? But it's scary. It doesn't make any sense. And so he went like basically 20 years thinking The Nightmare Before Christmas was this like flop. And then eventually came to realize that like an entire generation of kids, myself included, just like life was changed by that movie and have loved it for years, and that it's actually this big cult favorite. And I was like, I can't believe that guy was walking around feeling like he made some weird movie no one cared about for years. But
that's really cool.
You never know.
That's really cool.
Okay, you're in Phoenix. We were getting questions in the chat already when we were listening to the Who We Are video and watching it. Was that shot in Phoenix? Torn Strike thinks so.
The Who We Are video. Yeah, so I went out to Ahwatukee, which is just kind of like where I describe it. It's in the southern, the south of Phoenix suburb stretch, kind of further west towards South Mountain. I'm sure the Arizona people know where it is.
Yeah,
but
sounds like a fun word to say just on its own. By the way.
Ahwatukee, there we go. But yeah, I went out with my friend that I grew up with. His name's Scott.
Shout out Scott.
I've known him shout out Scott. Yeah. I've known him for my whole life, and we spent a lot of time over there. Wandering around once we got our driver's licenses and all that.
Growing up in suburban Florida, we did a lot of just driving around nowhere too.
You drive around, and since there's South Mountain in kind of just like in the middle of the neighborhoods, you just kind of park in a neighborhood and walk around. So we went up there, and I had my like camcorder that we've had since I was a baby, that I dug up out of our closet and got some new batteries for, and I was like, I've been using it because all the Gen Z kids like me are are into that.
That's
like,
what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Y'all are into the
I don't know
vintage
why.
recording equipment.
Yeah. But yeah, we went and just walked around and went kind of did our usual rounds in the area and just captured a bunch of video. And then yeah, I brought it home, and I have a CRT TV over in the corner there.
Oh, sick. Yeah, show us.
Right
Ooh.
there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I used
So
to play Mario on a
got
Nintendo on a TV like that.
Yeah. I got that for free on Facebook Marketplace, which is quite the deal because those can be expensive for a working one these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also have this little little thing over here that so there's an oscilloscope in there and a little VHS VCR.
Sick.
And so I have cables like running all the way across the room.
Just a trip hazard for
CRT.
everyone involved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also the I have these little like glitch machines.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so that's how I made all the glitchy things. So yeah, I just took the video and ran it all through the CRT and then filmed it again with the camcorder. And I had some
filming
3D.
The screen, you mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I digitized the footage, then ran it through the screen, filmed it again, then digitized it again.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's a very destructive process to the video, but it turns out being all fuzzy and dreamy like
exactly.
I like it.
Like watching a music video in your dream, right? Or like trying to film something in your dream, or trying to text something. It never works.
Yeah, it never works. And yeah, it took me probably like 8 months to actually get that set up to work.
Wow. That's so cool though. Who got you into gear like this? Like, I'm just so curious as to how you found a passion for. You seem like you're a very tactile creative. Like you like to get your hands on machines and figure stuff out. Is anyone in your family into this sort of videotaping machinery, synthesizers? Like, where does this come from?
My dad is very much a. I don't know. He's like right now. He's completely rebuilding a motorcycle.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
From scratch. He like rebuilt our AC. Nice. He's like one of those people that I think he's rebuilt our oven, our laundry
like for
machine.
Fun or because it was broken?
Just because stuff breaks and he wants to upgrade things and.
That's sick.
And so I think that kind of mechanical, sort of, hardware oriented. I don't know. He's probably watching this.
Shout out, Dad.
I think some of that has, came through into my genes, or my DNA, and so I really like my computer stuff and making all these little machines work and all these systems work.
That's so cool. Have you seen the video of Bjork talking about how TVs work?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
You should check it out. You and your dad should watch it. I won't spoil it for you too much, but basically she's just like taking the back off of an old TV and she's showing you how all the wires work, and she was like, a poet told me not to trust television because it was bad for you, but look, there's nothing bad inside at all, And she's like, so don't listen to poets.
That's funny.
It's very, very cute. A classic video. Yes. Hi, Dad Morn and Bullprop. I'm never good at saying anyone's names. Bullprop agrees. Iconic. Your dad is the one who first bought you a keyboard when you were 7, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. For my 7th birthday, he got me a, what was it? I forgot what brand. I think it's like Axiom or
I mean, hey, if he didn't go with the Fisher Price, so that's already
no.
Like
it was
serious.
Whatever the like industry standard. Good stuff.
Wow.
And a Roland Cakewalk audio interface, which I actually still use. It's still around. Like it's I just have it in my room and I use it for like to run speakers to my TV.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Why did your
But
dad get you a keyboard? Now, in that really cute video previously on Lamorn, which I loved, it starts with a video of you as a 7-year-old, kind of like, first of all, standing in front of a danger video. So sick that you were into danger. Was that also your dad's doing?
yeah, well, I was kind of into whatever was related to, Daft Punk or Justice or whatever. So we would throw
same, bro, same.
We would throw the I don't know what we used for it, but some music radio service that would show pictures on the TV as well.
Oh, cool.
And my dad built some cool speakers like on his own. So we had a nice sound system in the living room. And yeah, so we would listen to music out there together, and he had a huge music collection as well, like MP3s and whatever.
Yeah.
CDs, all that. So we just had music going a lot, and I loved it. Especially electronic music. And I mean, he played all sorts of music. It wasn't just electronic music, but that was really what caught my ear as a youngster.
It's great. Well, it's nice because a lot of that music, it doesn't have lyrics either. So you kind of like create this whole crazy world in your mind. And like, I remember being a kid and listening to Discovery even before I was able to watch all of Interstellar 5555, because there wasn't really like a platform for just watching that until I was a little older. But like I used to like have a whole movie in my head that would play or whatever, so it lends itself nicely as a genre to just like exploring and being imaginative.
Yeah, it's great. I think that was definitely something that worked for me.
No kidding.
Yeah. And yeah, I would just, as you saw in that video of me 7 years old, I would set up the bar stools and whatever I had.
Yeah, what was up there? Like just controllers?
Dartboard. I had a dartboard.
Nice.
Definitely the Rock Band drum kit. We had DJ Hero too, so that was nice. Like, of course, the centerpiece, because I could stand there. It was like, okay, this is definitely something they're doing. And use that. And yeah, I love doing that.
What would you imagine in your head? Like, did you see yourself in front of a crowd, or were you just like, you didn't?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I immediately wanted to do exactly what, whoever was on the TV was doing.
So cool.
And making music and playing it for people, sounded like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
To me.
So I guess
being a little kid, I had no idea where to even start, and nor did I don't think I even really cared. I just loved it. I was like, I'm just gonna live in this fun thing. And I would play around, or like my dad got me some VSTs to go with my
he's like, it's fully loaded, just go nuts.
Yeah, and I had Reaper or something. That I'd throw some loops in. I actually still have my first song I exported.
I was gonna ask you, what was it like? Do you remember? You still got it.
It was 3 loops. It was 3 loops. I probably like 30 seconds long. It was called Supperman because I didn't know how to spell Superman. Supper man. Supperman.
That conjures a whole interesting story in my head too.
Yeah. So I had that. I still remember making it. I think part of that is because I did export it, and I think that was really the only thing I ever kept. But my dad made sure to keep that. Before I had any idea of what a file was on a computer.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did, because it's been fun to revisit it every once in a while.
Totally. Molly says it's playing in her head right now. Lucky Molly. Molly, is Superman a banger? You gotta let us know, truthfully, in the chat. Is it a banger?
It's a banger. It's a banger. It's very goofy.
Is it a full course meal? Does it stick to your ribs?
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
that's fucking sick. But
Yeah.
but electronic music, like you said, that wasn't your only bag. You also learned to play guitar and started playing in rock bands when you were a little teenager. When did you get
Yeah.
into guitar?
Well, so I kind of got back into, or I guess I really started to get serious about trying to make music, when I was 12, 13-ish.
I love when people say, I really got serious about music when I was, and then say some sort
Yeah.
of like
I don't know. I
pubescent
mean,
age. And I'm like, that's incredible. And I'm so happy for
yeah.
you. I was serious
I mean,
about almost nothing.
it was kind of one of those things where like it was always in the back of my head,
Yeah.
since I wanted to do it as a little kid, and so like I feel like I could start feeling my brain being able to process that stuff. Like, oh, maybe I should revisit this, and
Yeah.
start messing around with GarageBand, and
Heck
then
yeah.
it's like, okay, upgrade to Logic and start learning all the plugins and all that. And we had that blue Stratocaster
Yeah.
back there. That's my dad's guitar. He got when he was like 19.
Nice.
So we had that laying around, and I started playing it because I was like, okay, maybe I can use this too. And I guess that just started a whole portal into rock music, and I went all in. I started listening to classic rock and just I don't know, anything that had guitars in it, because I immediately fell in love with playing guitar. And yeah, I think the first couple weeks I taught myself some Led Zeppelin songs.
Got to.
Yeah,
It's
and
standard, right of
I was
passage.
like, okay, this is rock music. I'm gonna learn this. This will teach me guitar, and I loved it. It was great. And then yeah, so my parents were like, oh, okay, he seems interested. And so we went and signed up for School of Rock.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is around the whole nation.
Yeah.
A lot of states have them. And yeah, I mean, both my sister and I, she's 2 years younger than me. We did School of Rock for like our entire 13 to 18. Or I was about 17 when I stopped doing it, but she just recently graduated out of it.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
To
because
sister.
she just graduated high school, and yeah, it cuts off at 18. I'm like, okay,
You're the first
Yeah.
person I've ever talked to that is an alumnus of School of Rock. What is it like to go to School of Rock? I mean, I've seen the classic film, Jack Black,
Yeah.
Richard Linklater, but I'm sure it's not quite the same.
It's definitely different than that, as you can imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a after-school type thing. You go to a place, and they have like season shows where they're all themed around a certain thing. So there's like the Led Zeppelin show, or Best of the 90s, or whatever like that. And yeah, so I started taking guitar lessons and started doing those shows. And they just throw you in a band with a bunch of other kids who are learning their instruments. And yeah, it's like kind of a different band for each song, because it's maybe 15 or so kids on each show, and then it's just kind of a random set list. But you learn really quickly that way, really quickly. It was amazing. Just how fast, any of us who really wanted to apply ourselves to it was like, whoa, all right, we're making progress. So that kind of lends itself to making bands with your friends, and it was all just good fun. And all the while I was kind of working on my electronic music stuff on the side, and I would kind of focus on one or the other, just depending on what I was more interested in at the time.
Just always busy. We got to shout out Whitey Cracker in the chat, by the way. He's getting a lot of love from everybody and says hello. Just stopping by before jumping on a plane.
I hope you have a nice flight.
Lamorn is the future. Lamorn is the present.
Thank you.
No, that's really cool. Pay attention. We're paying attention. All right. No pressure. You just have to say a bunch of shit that's going to change everybody's life. No, that's awesome. That's so cool. I'm so glad that is a program that you were able to take advantage of and sounds like it really made a difference for you. I mean, I think that just like proves the importance of these sorts of programs that encourage kids and their creativity and just also getting out there. Like you said, you learn quickly and you performed in front of people, and I'm sure that must color the reality for you every time you get on stage today. Like those roots are there.
I mean, it was so huge that I did that in my teen years, and going to my fast forward to my first Lamorn show.
Yeah, the one was that the one in Arizona?
Yeah,
that's featured.
Yeah, so that was in Arizona at Rawhide, opening for Deadmau5, which is a ridiculous first show.
Yeah.
Luckily I had enough under my belt. I guess I felt totally comfortable on stage at that point, and so I could just go up there and adapt my electronic music to how I wanted to present it, and everyone was into it, and I think it was kind of a moment to impress the people I was working starting to work with now, because they didn't know what I was gonna if I was gonna be able to perform, or like this was kind of a big test.
It is crazy that they threw you kind of like in trial by fire, because like if you hadn't had the experience and ability to kind of talk, because also how old were you at the time, because this was a few years ago?
I was 18.
Okay, so you were 18, technically an adult.
But
still.
Yeah.
What was like going through your head when you were, first of all, when they gave you that offer? Could you even believe it? Like
Well, so we started talking about like we were gonna play shows later that year, and do some Deadmau5 stuff later that year. So I was working with his production crew, Chris and yes, they were so helpful. Shout out to Chris and the crew.
Shout out.
But yeah, so I was talking to them, and we were kind of like working on maybe we could do some stage ideas and all that,
what a
and
cool
like what would I need to
so cool.
What would I need to kind of make a live set for myself. So we were walking through that, and we kind of got like a rough idea of some extra gear I needed, and all that, and so we got those orders in place, and then like I think a half an hour after one of our calls, Chris called me. He was like, "Hey, I think in it was 3 weeks, we're gonna be in Arizona. So how about you play that show?" I was like, "Okay." Yeah, I can do that. And so I think I maybe had 10% of a live set done at that point.
Wow.
So I spent every waking hour from that moment.
Yes.
Getting it ready.
Were you out of school already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
That was right after I graduated.
It's good timing, because you're not going through finals and trying to
No, yeah.
set up
Well, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Because it was at the beginning of June, and I was just graduating high school. I did a whole year of online school, kind of coming off the back end of COVID.
Shit.
Because I got all these opportunities during COVID, and so I was in online school at that point. I was a junior, and I was like, okay, me and my parents were like, okay, yeah, we can do online school for the senior year, and I can work on my music stuff.
That's so nuts too. Like, what a strange moment that must have been for you, because on the one hand, we were all really scared and freaked out. We didn't understand what was happening, and everything just felt really up in the air, and we all felt disconnected from each other. But then meanwhile, you're having one of the best experiences of your life.
Yeah. It's weird, it just kind of it threw a wrench in everything, for better or for worse. Yeah, I don't think I would have. I know I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if I was just in school as normal, because all those streams were happening
exactly, and it
during
was
school hours.
It was through his Deadmau5's live stream. He was just listening to people's demos, and you just sent him physical layer. That's what happened.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't Physical Lair.
Okay, I take it back.
Physical Lair was well, it came like right after. I sent him that one like right after I started talking to him. Trying to kind of like prove myself a little bit. Like, okay, I have him on the line. I gotta
keep sending worms out. Yeah. Keep the fish alive.
But then also trying to not be annoying or like.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a weird place to be.
That was nerve-wracking.
And he's, he's an intimidating fella. He can be.
He is. Yeah, very intimidating, but very nice.
Very nice, yeah. And really about his music shit, like cares deeply about all of this stuff.
Yeah. He's been awesome to work with, and I've very much enjoyed. They say don't meet your heroes, and so I was pretty nervous to meet him. He was like, is this gonna ruin it? But no, it's like now it kind of feels like a different thing. It's like there's the kind of pre all this stuff Deadmau5 that I listened to him as a kid. Now I get to know him personally, and
and everyone is a person at the end of the day, and that's why I think they say that, right? Because you never know. You could also just meet your idol on a bad day. Everyone has bad days. It's not always the time to ask for an autograph or whatever.
I've seen him on bad days when he's grumpy, or I've seen him on great days when he's in a really, really great mood.
But what it is special.
It's awesome.
Ooh, wait, Aurora made me dab. You want to dab?
I did it.
It's so funny. I forgot I have those things there. And also shout out Aurora. Hello. Bullprop said that they felt sick just hearing that story, and I can completely understand. Like, what a crazy experience. Now that you have worked up a bit more of a relationship with Deadmau5 and all the other folks on that team, what do you think has been some of the advice you've gotten from them that resonates with you as you continue moving through your career, as you're planning your shows and putting out this album? Like, are there certain things that you've learned from either Joel or any of the people that are on the Mousetrap family crew that has just been really enlightening to you?
Yeah, I mean,
he's like everything.
There's so much I've learned. Yeah, it's almost hard to boil it down. I mean, thinking back, to the first few conversations I had with Joel, those were very much like he was giving me some tips of like, or just kind of running through his career. He was kind of running through his career in his head and just kind of dumping that at me like, okay, here's some stuff that you might want to avoid.
Yeah. That's great advice. The pitfalls that you don't have to do.
Yeah, some stuff that he, I guess, wishes he knew when he was coming up and starting, and I guess some mindsets that he's found just work for him and all that, and I think one of them, I guess the most, it's pretty broad, but it's also pretty, I guess it stuck with me the most was like, don't let anyone tell you what to do.
Yes.
I guess
that's not advice you're going to get from everyone in the music industry, I've got to say. A lot of people in the music industry would tell you what to do.
Yeah, he said listen, but don't let them tell you what to do. Like, this is your project, and you should do what you feel is best. And him having that mindset, I think it definitely shows in who he works with and what they've been like to me. Because I'm on that management company, and his manager is also kind of my manager in a sense. My like direct manager Matt works at 720, which is owned by Joel and Dean. But yeah, like all those people, they've been very I was surprised really quickly how I guess much they respected my ideas, or were willing to listen to a kid who didn't know what he was doing. Like try and navigate this, and try and guide me in ways that were going to help me and all that.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, yeah, it could have been terrible being a teenager going into this. Like, it kind of it's a big deal working with some big names and all that, and but it was great, and it's been great, and it still is great.
Well, I hear so many people, artists, producers, whatever medium, say that there's something really special about the beginning when you don't really know what all the rules are, because you're not worried about breaking them, and you're not worried about doing anything the right way. You're just kind of totally free form exploring whatever it is that you're trying to learn. So it's cool if they hear your ideas and go, all right, how do we make that happen? Like, oh, well, listen, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
of that.
Of course.
When I come to ideas like, it doesn't really work for me. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. And I went into it definitely being like, okay, I'm 17. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and get the most out of this that I can, and try and not seem like I'm I didn't want to seem like I was overconfident or anything.
Right.
Or that was definitely a big fear of mine, is seeming like I don't know, someone I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a big goal of mine. I guess just with the people I work with, all right, I wanted to be on a good, solid footing with them, and
Totally.
It ended up, it worked out.
Well, you're not brand new to this whole thing anymore. You've now been, kind of big time in for a couple years now. Professional.
I still feel completely brand new, and I'm never gonna stop learning about this stuff. But I do have more experience playing shows and just interacting with people in the industry.
Yeah. I like that industry. That's how I feel too.
The industry, yeah.
It just occurred to me, did you have plans to go to college before getting signed by Mousetrap?
Oh yeah.
What had been your plan that you ejected from?
I was just gonna go to ASU, Arizona State, State College, and go do computer science.
Nice.
My dad is a software engineer, and my dad's dad was also a software engineer.
Wow, coming from a long line of software engineers. I like
it. My grandpa, he was kind of like a first wave software engineer back when it was, first becoming a real thing, I think.
Well, timeline-wise, it has to be true, because there just wasn't that many people doing it back in what I can only guess were the 60s.
I was totally happy with that idea of, doing that. And, I guess I still would be if this all doesn't end up being anything, which I'm going to work my hardest to make it work. But, I would have been fine. But I'm super stoked that this is working out, and
did you
it's something I definitely Did
you officially have to tell? Did you have to tell this university, where you listen, thank you very much, I will not be taking class, or did you take any classes?
It was just a little bit before I had to start applying, so that was just what was in my head. I didn't have to do any college stuff.
Damn.
Actually, I didn't take the SAT or ACT.
Nice.
Yeah.
You took a different type of test, and it was called Opening for Dead Mouse.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks.
It was that last few, last semester of school was really hard for me to get through, because I was never a great student anyway. I don't know. I was more focused on whatever else I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which was usually the music stuff. At one point, I think in 8th grade, my parents had to take away my Logic Pro for a month so I could get my grade back up to, something respectable. So
You gotta have a foundation of grades, until you're hitting the road with
I'd
Dead
still wake
Mouse.
up I'd still wake up in the middle of the night occasionally and work on a couple things. And I think my mom's probably watching this, but I'm sure they do that. I don't even know if they remember doing that, but I remember.
Yeah, right. You're like, all right, this can never happen again. I have to at least keep a floating average, passing.
Yeah. So I wasn't a great student, but I was working really hard at the music stuff.
Exactly. You were setting yourself up for other things. It's just so hard to say that will go somewhere. Like that's why parents and loved ones get concerned because God, who could ever
totally
know?
Fair.
Oh, and honestly, your mom? Yes, it did happen. Mom here. Shout out.
Yeah. Hey, Mom.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, it's pretty funny now.
Laugh now. It is funny. That's so cute. Man, good job, Mom. Good job.
Yeah, no, that was the right thing at the time, for sure. I mean, I was in 8th grade. And I like learning all the music stuff, going through it. I never really believed that I would make a career out of it or anything. Like I had in my head, I would just do it as a hobby. And, I like my goal was to make music that I liked. And, like from the start, it was like, okay, I want to make music that sounds to the quality of,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're like, if I was 7 years old, I want to be like it so much, I'd put all the stools together and I'd pretend I was playing.
That was the goal. And so, that was just kind of how I was thinking of it. I love that. And then, all of a sudden one day it completely flips. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing a music career now.
I guess it worked. Okay, we've been talking for a while. I want to talk about Forever, your debut album that's coming out. We were talking about how, spiritually, maybe, your EP Encore, which, first of all, love naming your debut EP Encore. Very cheeky, very fun.
Yeah. I mean, that was a long EP. But I'd say, thinking about it, I think it's definitely a little different in how I approached it compared to, the album now, which is definitely an album. Okay, this was an album mostly from the start. And, I developed it more like an album instead of just a collection of those tracks.
When you say you developed it like an album, I'm imagining that you mean, conceptually there's a story here. All of these tracks go together in such a way that feels meaningful?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
I think, I kind of. I don't know. I think the way I make music is kind of scattered and a bit haphazard sometimes.
Fair.
I take pieces from tracks I'm not going to use, and I sample tracks I'm not going to use anymore.
That's cool. Yeah.
I have actually a bunch of these songs on this album sample a bunch of my encore tracks.
Cool.
And some of them are almost kind of like a sequel, I guess.
Yeah, nice.
In a way. But I think, when it came down to it at the end, finalizing everything, I was definitely designing it to flow, and kind of be something where you listen to the whole thing and go through. There's definitely an intro track, and then there's kind of more dancey section, and then it goes to a more stripped down area, and then a long outro ending with the big epic track. So I was kind of like, okay, I wanted to do an album like that, and it was great. It was fun, and it definitely came together in pieces. I'd say over time. I mean, some of the tracks are brand new that, I started maybe 2 months ago. Wow. That I just kind of finished for the album. And then, some of them I made a long time ago. A long time ago in my head is 2 years.
Yeah. That's a fair, I feel like for an album, 2 years, that seems right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my music career has been 3 years. About.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know,
Crazy.
time flies.
It's so cool that
It,
you've made it a point to release an album, though, because, a lot of electronic musicians don't necessarily follow that path. A lot of the artists I speak to are really into that. I think probably because I'm really into that. But I saw you made that really cute video for social talking about how the format of an album is really important to you. Will you tell me a little bit about why it's important to you?
yeah, I mean, I think I said it in the video. I've been consuming music in album format for my whole life, so it's like that's kind of the way I guess it's just kind of ingrained into me to enjoy music that way. And I mean, now I definitely I listen to music in all sorts of ways.
Of course.
But the album thing is something that's always been kind of like a dream of mine to do. I guess for many reasons. In the sense that's how I like to listen to music, and you can really you can really show a lot of yourself, I guess. It feels like with this album, it's like, okay, this is this chunk of 2 years of my life, and like it has a bunch of memories that are attached to that, and like I think that's kind of the personal satisfaction of making music for me, is like it's sort of like keeping a journal that's very cryptic and not even really decipherable for myself.
Yeah.
Like I can't like tell you what it's about necessarily, but it's like when I listen to it, all those it's like a whole I guess, I'm trying to find the right word. It's a whole symbol of just last couple of years, what I'm like right now. I guess what I am interested in right now, and I mean, I know if I write a bunch of albums in my lifetime, I'll be able to go back and listen to my old albums and just be like completely put into this time frame.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated.
Yeah,
by that, like when artists perform songs from when an artist has been around for decades and they're playing these songs, like it has to be such a trip to just go back in time. So many, especially when people with lyrics and things, right? Like it's like I'm sure eventually it starts feeling like all those sorts of other new memories get attached to it. And, we'll have to chat again 10 years from now. You can let me know how forever feels.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to it in 10 years. Yeah, I've kind of reached the point right now where I'm done with these songs, and I want
Get out of here.
Yeah, I want to put them out and like have them off the front of my brain.
Yeah.
Because I can really enjoy them again that way.
Yes.
The last 5% of finishing songs and like getting stuff ready for albums, or just like releasing anything, it's work, and it's definitely not the most fun part for me.
Yeah. It's not that romantic when you're like getting down to the really teeny tiny little engineering details.
I'm just sitting here like, I just want to get it away. I don't want to listen to this anymore. Do I like it? Do I hate it?
You can't even listen to it honestly anymore.
I can't. And I mean, I love the songs, but sometimes I don't like them. Is kind of the thing. But it's fun bringing them to the live.
That's what I want to hear about.
The live set, because I can kind of like go in and rip them apart, and rip them apart in new project files that are copies of the old project files.
That's cool. What all goes into your live performance? Because you've got kind of a lot going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of setup, I'm kind of running the same thing that I have been for the past couple of years. Wow.
Right? Here you go.
That's crazy. But yeah, so I have, I run it out of Ableton, and
Classic
I guess so I send some MIDI from the Ableton project to a drum machine now. It used to be a mini log, but I kind of started using that less and less to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna try something new. But the drum machine is super fun. So I've got the like Behringer 909,
Nice.
like remake. So I have that good old school house sound. But yeah, so I have that going over a bunch of my tracks, and I can play with that the whole time. And then yeah, I have some like I guess MIDI triggers and knobs that I have mapped to effects, and I can kind of mangle tracks on the fly, which is cool.
I like all the violent language. I'm gonna rip it up and mangle it live. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, but
he's going to war, people.
Yeah, I don't like these tracks anymore. But yeah, and then I off to the side I have have the Ableton Push, which is a nice direct interface with Ableton, so I don't have to hit anything on the computer.
Nice.
Accidentally
knock it down. That won't happen.
Yeah, which it looks cooler and all that, and I can select the tracks I need to mess with or whatever. And then I bring a pedal board for my guitar, which I run into my I have one of those Apollo audio interfaces, which can run guitar amp emulation directly on the hardware, which is cool. Because I can get like a full guitar amp in this little box.
That is so cool.
And it's latency free, and I can just run that straight out to the front of house sound guy, and and then I also run some vocal effects that I can switch between.
Nice.
So that I can kind of mesh in with my songs a bit more.
Because you're singing a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something that I wasn't really planning on when I started doing the Lamorn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had some other little projects that I was working on before that were more vocal, I guess, indie oriented.
Mm-hmm. I can hear that in some of your tracks still, though, like that sort of like Phoenix approach to indie rock and dance, and
definitely. So I kind of started meshing that in with my songs, and all the management and all the people I was working with or am working with, when they started working with me, they didn't know I had any intentions of singing or anything like that.
Even more tricks
so one day I was
up
like,
your
okay, I'm
sleeve.
gonna sing on some of my tracks and send it to them, and they were like, oh, hey, like that's kind of interesting. Like you sing too.
That is
like,
cool.
I guess. I've never thought of myself as a singer, and
That's so cool.
I always, I never liked my voice at all, but I kind of did it like functionally to write songs. I was like, all right, I can make this sound okay with the right effects and the right placing of my voice or whatever. I guess circling back around. I just started singing on everything, and now I have a bunch of songs I'm singing on. I sing all those live.
Sounds like
it's super fun.
Really fun show. The more I think about it, the more I'm talking myself into maybe coming and trying to see the show in Atlanta. I think that's the closest you're gonna get. But I have a credit from Spirit Airlines that maybe that'll be my time to cash it in.
That'll be awesome.
Your friend Molly, who's in the chat and is on the track Sonic from Forever, she's going to be on some of the tour dates at least, right? Or is she going to be on all of them?
She will be on all of them.
Hey, shout out Molly. Talk to us about Molly. What's Molly's deal?
So Molly and we've been together for 4 years now.
Amazing.
We were in a rock band together. What
was the name of your rock band?
Good Boy Daisy. They're still around. They're still
cool.
They're still going hard. It's cool. They're doing their thing. And those were fun days. We were in a band together. And bands are just kind of tough. Didn't really work out. And that's cool and all. I was very interested in her. So I chased after her for a good while. Eventually won her over. So that's cool.
We love a persistent king.
Yeah. yeah, we've been together for a long time and building up our production skills together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we both love music and both love a lot of the same music. And we've both expanded each other's music taste, I would say, which is cool. But yeah,
cool.
Especially recently, we've been writing together a lot more. Because it was kind of. Molly knows. It was kind of interesting, like trying to figure out how we write together, because it's a very, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Write songs, and we found that not writing in the same room is awesome, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because we both really like to be at the computer and working with Ableton and all that. And we're both proficient at it. So I think we were getting less done trying to do that. And it just kind of ended up being like, I don't really feel like working on this. But when we're at our own house, our own desks and like working together, our song Sonic on the album, that's kind of how that came about. She had a song idea that she wasn't super into at the time, but then I came over and listened to it and I was like, oh, I really like that. Like, can I play with that? If you're not going to do anything with it. I brought it home and then did some stuff to it and sent it over. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool.
Nice.
And then we kind of went back and forth between our computers, doing the kind of, I guess, long distance collabing. Even though we just live,
That's how most of this music is made at the end of the day, anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other collab on my album, "To Be Alive" with Dash 30, I was introduced to him through another guy I reached out to. I liked his music, and we were kind of playing with some ideas. Nothing really came of it, but yeah, I kind of started making friends with his online music friends, and I think he was from Denmark. Somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Far away.
So yeah, but then Dash 30, he's in Boise. So I haven't met any of these guys, but we all kind of do Discord collaboration, where we just hop on a Discord call and start sending audio files, which is super fun. And me and him, Dash 30, his name's Brody. We've been working together a lot. And
cool.
Yeah, he's become a great friend. And yeah, I think I'm gonna actually see him on tour. I think he's going to one of the shows.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Take the URL to IRL. Gotta do it.
Yeah. But it's been cool, kind of overall just collabing and learning how to work with people and all that.
Hell yeah. It's an exciting time.
It's cool.
It's an exciting time. Are you anxious about Forever dropping? Are you just can't wait? You're like, long time coming. I mean, thank you for taking the time to meet with me before it hits and you hit the road and everything goes crazy, but big day.
No, this is great. It's actually kind of fun to talk through this stuff. It's like like a sort of pre-tour, like okay, I'm getting everything in my
right?
head,
Get your head right. Get ready for it.
No, it's great. But yeah, no, I'm ready for it to come out. I'm actually not that nervous for it to come out, surprisingly.
You're ready.
Not in the sense that I feel necessarily like confident about it.
Never too confident. Never too confident.
Yeah.
Never overconfident.
No.
Just the right amount of confidence.
I feel pretty good about the songs and I like them. And
you're proud.
And I'm just ready. Yeah, I'm just ready to put it out and archive all of those files
put them on the cloud. Get out of here.
Yeah, different drive away from my computer to not think about them.
I get that. On to the next. I know you said you're already working on stuff that you're feeling really good about.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably have 5 or 6 songs that I feel pretty good about right now. That won't be on the album.
Album 2's on the way. Are you going to be an album artist? Is that how you see yourself progressing, as more of an album-focused artist than
Yeah, I think kind of doing a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think I'll kind of be like an era artist, I guess.
Oh, okay.
If
We're in
that
our
if that's
forever
the,
era right now.
yeah. um, but yeah, I think I'll kind of do an album, then I guess make some album DLC where I kind of put out some singles and like stuff
Love
that's sort of
it.
related.
Love it.
So yeah, I think I'll do that. I have a couple songs. Yeah, I think one or two unreleased songs I'm gonna play on the tour
Yes,
as
I was
well.
wondering that. I was like, are some of these tracks gonna find their
Yeah,
way into
the
set
ones that
lists?
are like pretty much finished, I'll play out.
So
But I think
cool.
we'll probably release some stuff as I'm touring too.
Yeah,
Just schedule that and
totally.
like do a little
Juice it
rapid
up.
fire single release to
Get the kids
keep the ball
excited.
rolling. And yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that'll be the plan for the next little bit. Will just be kind of more like real time releasing, where I'm finishing a song and then it's like, okay,
That's
get
exciting
it together in
too.
a couple weeks and put it out,
Oh, that's
and not
great.
sit on
Hot
it.
off the presses.
Yeah, and I think that'll be great for me personally too, because it'll give me less time to be all you know in my head about
Yeah,
it.
totally. Free,
Yeah,
free it.
yeah,
Manic
because
release.
I mean a lot of songs, I had to I've been sitting on for a while, and it's less fun.
Yeah.
And I'll do that again in the future when I'm ready for my next album or whatever.
Yeah. You'll get
But
there.
yeah, for now
2 years
we're
from now.
going rapid fire.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
Torn Strike has asked a couple times. I gotta ask: have you been to Tucson? Do you ever play out there?
I have been to Tucson a few times, mostly just on road trips. Or yeah, passing through. I've got some friends that go to U of A down there. But yeah, mostly. I mean, yeah, I'd love to play a show there. If the opportunity comes up,
Yeah.
definitely anywhere in Arizona. I would love to
To
build
rep.
build an Arizona crew, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, Tucson's great. I think everywhere in Arizona I love. Honestly, it's a great place, and I definitely love living here.
Oh, yeah. She says there's an EDM fest out there and they need the funk. Well, let's hit up those promoters and let's tell
Yeah.
them what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Come on, you'll save on travel. He's right
Yeah,
down the road.
seriously. Oh, it's great playing shows at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the one last year. Yeah, last year on the We Are Friends tour. And so I played some of those, and then I got to play the one in Phoenix, and it was awesome because I
That's
could
cool.
do my set and enjoy the show, and then go home to my own
Go
bed.
home, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Do you
I don't have to
a
get up early
Phoenix-
for a flight. It's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have a Phoenix date on this tour? I know you
Yeah,
shared the tour dates earlier. You can share those again.
July 15th at Valley Bar.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Notice. Torn
Get
Strike.
tickets.
Yeah. Support.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I've talked your ear off. We've definitely gone a little over an hour. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's
cool.
fine. But
Yeah.
is there anything else that you want to say about Forever or just about anything in general? Famous last words, parting advice, books you've enjoyed lately. Anything you want to share with the kids?
I guess have fun.
Have fun.
Have
I
fun
think
with
that's
your
really
life
good
and
advice.
do stuff you're interested in. And that's
Don't
what
let
I
anyone tell you what to do unless
Yeah.
it's have fun. Then you should do
Yeah.
what people tell you to
keep
do.
it light. Keep it light.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Lamorn, thank you so much for joining me here on Cat Calls.
Thanks for having me.
I'm
Thanks for
such a
having me.
fan. I'm so excited for the release of Forever. And if I do decide to full send it and go to the Atlanta show, I'll send you a heads up. So
Awesome.
maybe we can
Yeah,
say hello
we'll
to
love
you
to
and
see you there.
Molly. And but I want to see it now. I'm all juiced up and I want to see
Yeah.
it. Sounds like it's a great show.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun.
It's gonna be great. And shout out mom and dad in the chat. Good job.
Hey mom, hey dad.
All right,
They're the best.
I'll see you out there. I'll see you on the internet and potentially
Awesome.
on the road.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.